can Klay Thompson and Megan Thee Stallion really last long term? Uh, that really depends on intentionality of the relationship. Because we have to be careful in not just judging other people's past, but thinking about intention. We know that Megan Thee Stallion, she has a reputation for being nasty in her music and presenting herself in a way, at least previously, because I've seen some recent pictures of her where she's covered up, and she's covered up at basketball games for the most part. But we also got to be careful and pay attention to her past and what she represented, right? And for all intents and purposes, she has presented herself as a symbol of lust, right? And we have Klay Thompson, multiple-time NBA champion, who's now playing for the Dallas Mavericks and not having the best part of his career. It appears he's more on the downward part of his career, more downward slope. And so we got to look at these things, and he hasn't had any, as far as I could remember, he doesn't have any past relationships where he was dating someone who I believe at this level of lustation is what we're going to call it. Someone who had this kind of notoriety and was appeared to be this kind of symbol, in a nasty way. I'm just saying what she appears to represent to men, right? She doesn't, we don't look at her and go, oh, that's a smart woman. No, we look at her body parts, we look at what she's exposed, we look at the things she's said and her music, things like that, right? That's what has catapulted her career over time. And so what is the intention? Is the intention to truly find love, and how did they meet, right? We don't know how they met. How did they meet? Did he seek her out because he thought that she just looked good? Did they meet at a gala that was fundraising for kids with intellectual disabilities? I'm just making these things up as I'm talking, right? Because that's a difference, right? Okay, I met you and we were fundraising for a cause that we're both passionate about. Oh, let's talk. And then it expands from there, right? That's a possibility and a different type of intentionality, as opposed to him just trying to find someone who supersedes what he ever had in his life and to take the place of a void that's getting bigger and bigger as his career goes downward, right? Because sometimes men, you gotta understand men. Sometimes men, as we age, and he's not even really that old, but as he's old in basketball years, sometimes men, as we age, as we don't have, and we begin to lose what we think, we're beginning to lose the notoriety that we used to have. That's when we want to go and seek out alternative things and find alternative trophies, right? If you look at it from the perspective of a man, and my wife is walking in, when you look at it from the perspective of a man who's getting ready to retire and he's never had a sports car, right? He gets the red Corvette, he goes and get those things to try to make himself feel younger. And that's when he goes and gets the hair implants or puts on the toupee or whatever. You got to equate that to what's going on in this man's career right now. Is he looking for a trophy? Is he looking to feel younger, to feel more dangerous, to feel more, I guess, masculine is the word that I'm looking for. Now, your masculinity shouldn't be based on the things that you have, but in our society, that's what we've pushed, right? Men are supposed to be the providers, and a man's level of masculinity is based on the things and levels that he can provide. So he's just trying to attain something else to make himself appear to be more masculine. Does he just want to be the man? If that's the case, then no, this thing ain't gonna last. This thing ain't gonna last. And I hope that the opposite isn't true, where she actually fell in love or is falling in love and is looking to actually clean up her act, right? Because when we see her courtside, she appears to be covered more from time to time. Is she trying to clean up her act because she's really falling in love and all he wants is a trophy? All of these things can be dangerous in a relationship. All of these things. And so we might be looking at some fallout very soon if there's any intention, any real intentionality there. And I haven't even touched on the spiritual piece of that. That's a whole other, listen, if God ain't in it, you ain't gonna win it. Right? I didn't even touch on that. And I feel like that's more obvious, I would think, to most of the people who listen to me. You know, if God ain't in it, it definitely ain't gonna last. If God ain't put that together, you know, so, but on a surface level, we have to be careful of intentions. We have to be careful of, here's a question that you need to ask. If someone is pursuing you and they're on a level that you're not on, right? So think about whatever level you're on and think about whatever you think would be higher than that. If someone's pursuing you and they're not on that level, you have to ask that person directly, well, what originally attracted you to me? Well, what do you see in me? And wait for the response. If it's all physical, you may have yourself a problem. Yes. As human beings, we're visual creatures. So we're going to see that first. But there should be something beyond that, because a relationship has to be built on substance. So there should be more to that. There should be more to the body. Oh, well, you know, I ran into you at the park, and we were at the dog park, and I love how you take care of animals. I love animals. And I liked how you were looking in them jogging pants. Right? So like that's someone who's being honest, who's being real. Right? My wife is walking around. She may not like some part of this conversation, so we're gonna end this video soon. She don't like when I call her out. But there should be some substance from the very beginning, or else, you know, the foundation is already shaky and it ain't gonna last, like I said in the past. So something for you guys to think about. Let me know what you think in the comments.